guys, it's Star the Flippin' Hippo. Thank you for joining us on our YouTube channel at Flippin' Hippos. As you can tell by the title, today I want to talk about, are you overwhelmed by your goals? And your answer is probably yes. The thing about goals is that most of them are big. Most goals are tremendously huge. And if you have more than one at a time, they can be overwhelming. They can seem like they're too much. They can seem unattainable, and they can just pile upon you until you're not taking action at all towards completing any of these goals. And even if you only have one or two, if they're really big goals and you can't see the way to get from point A to the finish line, and you don't have steps planned out, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and feel like, well, I'll never accomplish this goal. And then you never take steps towards it, so that you're just kind of stagnant and you have this overwhelming, looming goal, this black cloud over your head, and you don't know what to do about it. So today I just wanted to talk about breaking your goals down into more attainable, achievable steps, having a clear and concise plan from point A to the finish line to achieve your goals. In order to do that, you actually have to take a step back away from what the end result's going to be and think about how you can break it down into smaller steps and then only focus on one step at a time. So if getting from where you're at now to this goal is going to take 50 different steps, and each step's going to take 2 days, and it's going to take you 100 days or a little over 3 months to complete it or achieve it, and that's fine. A lot of goals that are really, really big, or make some kind of big change in your life, aren't going to be attainable immediately. They're going to take time. They're going to take a lot of hard work, perseverance, and many, many small steps to get there. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the old adage, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, because an elephant's really big, and if you need to eat one, you just start in and do it one bite at a time. And it's the same with goals. So you need to break it down into smaller steps, smaller chunks, whatever you need to call it to yourself, to make yourself excited about doing it. Let's say your goal is to lose 50 pounds. Well, when you look at it like that, it's like, oh, how am I going to lose 50 pounds? That's a lot of weight. But when you start breaking it down in your head, how much you can lose a week, how you can change your eating habits, when you can exercise, how you can work that into your schedule, what you can do towards the goal, and every day you can cross something off of your list that you did towards that goal. Before you know it, months down the road, you'll be 50 pounds lighter. And you'll feel better about yourself, not only because you've lost weight, but because you've achieved something. You have reached a goal. So what you need to do, first and foremost, you need to write them down. If you don't have a bullet journal, now is the time to start one. You don't need anything fancy. You don't have to go buy a $10 hardback diary from Barnes & Noble. You don't need to spend hours drawing in it and becoming an artist. You can if you want. The beauty of bullet journals is it can be as simple or as unique as you want it to be. But for the purpose of this, for breaking your goals down, you really just need some kind of notebook that you can write lists in. And you can even get a separate notebook for each goal if you'd like. If you don't want to do a bullet journal, if you just want to go buy some spiral bound notebooks from Walmart for 50 cents. You can color code them. You can get different color notebooks for different goals. Anything that's going to make you excited and want to sit down and work on this and make the lists and make the steps, and is going to get you excited to get up every single day and go through these lists and these steps and check things off and keep working towards your goal. Anything that will help you with that, by all means, do it. If you need 5 notebooks, 5 different colors for 5 different goals. If you need one bullet journal and you need it to be artistic and you need to draw on it and make graphs, do it. Me, I'm all about just lists on pieces of paper. That's how I function. I just like lists. But whatever you need to do, you need to, 1, get these more attainable, but 2, you need to get excited. This is something that you want to do for yourself, for your life, for your business, for your family, whatever your goals are, that are going to make life essentially better in the end. So a good example would be, let's say that you have X amount of debt and bills that you want to pay off, or that you want to quit your job outside of the home to do reselling full time. Say that's your big goal. That is a big goal. That is a lot that you have to think about in order to get ready to do this, to pay off all your debt, or to quit your job. And if you just think you're going to go, start listing on eBay today and be able to attain this without all these other little steps along the way, that's not how it works. And then you're going to feel like you're not achieving anything. You're going to feel discouraged. And that's another good reason to break these down into really small steps. So if you're saving up to pay off a car, medical bills, or to quit your job, you need to figure out how much money you need, period. Whatever your situation is. How much do you need to make every single month to cover the loss of your job? Or how much do you want to make every single month to put towards these bills or this debt? Then you need to figure out your average sale price on most of your items. And based on that, how many items would you need to sell a day? And you need to be writing all of this down as you're figuring it out. So if you want to make $1,000 extra a month, you need to make $250 extra a week. You need to write this down in your notebook. If your average sale price or your average profit on each item, let's say you profit about $10 on each item, you need to sell 25 items a week to profit $250. But that's before cost of goods and eBay bills. That profit would typically be figured out after shipping and fees. If you're making $10 profit on 25 items a week, you're profiting $250, but you still need to buy more items to list. You still need to put money back into the business. So it's always safe to go up and say you need more. In the instance, if you were going to quit your job and you were going to cover, if you made $4,000 a month at your job, you probably want to make $6,000 to $8,000 a month reselling to have a cushion. You want to make a little bit extra. You're going to have self-employment taxes. You're going to have health insurance, all of those things to think about. It's just always a safe bet to overestimate what you need for all of those expenses that you're going to have when you become self-employed, but also, for reinvesting in the business, for buying more inventory, when your printer breaks and you need to get a new one, things like that. So just make sure you're writing all of this down. So back to our original example, you want to make an extra $1,000 a month above and beyond all your costs of goods. So if your average profit on each item is $10, maybe you want to make $450 even. So you want to sell 45 items a week. There's a little bit of math here, so you have to sit down and figure it out. If you want to sell 45 items a week, you got to figure out how many items a day you want to sell. What type of items are you selling? If you're selling all used clothing, you're going to have an average of a 0.5% sell-through rate. So if you had 2,000 items listed, you're probably going to sell 10 a day. That's $100 a day. That's $700 a week. You see where I'm going with this? But you also have to cover what's selling. So you need a list to replace everything you're selling, and then you need to list to make that money. And you also have to think about how many items you're going to need to buy each week to replenish your inventory. And you can work all this out on paper. It's real simple. Whatever your personal numbers are, I'm just throwing some numbers out there at you to give you some examples. But once you figure out exactly how much money you profit on average per item, how many items you'll need to sell each week, break it down as small as you can. How many items do you need to sell per day? How many items do you need to list per day then? And how much will you need to source to replace as well as grow? You got to grow. If you want to eventually sell, 700 items a week, 10 a day, you're going to have 2,000 listings. Unless you're doing something really fast and quick, like electronics and things like that. That's usually a 1% sell-through rate, and they sell faster. They're going to have a higher average profit per item as well. So you'll need to, list less and sell less than if you're doing used clothing. But once you get it all worked out on paper and it's attainable, then in your head exactly how many items you need to list every day to reach these goals. If you want to sell 10 per day, You need to have 2,000 listed, but you got to cover what you're selling. So always go up, say 20 a day, if that's your goal. The other thing I would like to add, the more you list, the more you're going to sell. So as you continue listing and growing your total amount of items listed, you're going to start selling more. So your numbers aren't going to grow as much as in the beginning when you first sat down and did your math and you went from 100 to 800 listings. So it's always a good idea to reassess once in a while, maybe once a month or so. Just sit down and reassess your goals, reassess your numbers, redo the math, and match it up to what your current situation is. The most common point where people really start to spin their wheels is around 1,800 listings. I know I can speak from experience as far as Keith and I. It's right around 1,800, and I've heard it from a lot of other resellers. Once you get 1,800 items listed on eBay, that's when you really start spinning your wheels, because you're going to sell 8 to 10, sometimes 12 items a day. And if you were only listing 10 a day, you're not going to grow. So now you've got to list 20 a day, but then you're going to sell even more. That's that point from like 1,800 to 2,000 is where a lot of people just start spinning their wheels. It's a good problem to have if you're selling a lot more. But like I said, just every once in a while, sit down, reassess what's going on, where your life is at. If you're saving up to pay off debt, you can sit down once every couple of months and see what you've paid off and what's left and redo your numbers based on that. And this works for anything, guys, not just reselling. It works for weight loss. It works for cleaning goals. If your whole house is one big clutter ball and you want it to be clean, obviously your house didn't get that way in one day. You're not going to get it clean in one day. So break it down on a piece of paper and say, I'm going to spend 15 minutes a day, a half an hour a day. And you can even go so far as to break it down by day. Maybe on Mondays, you declutter closets, and on Tuesdays you declutter cupboards, and Wednesdays you sweep and mop and vacuum everywhere behind furniture that you never get to. But you can break it down into really small parts, small pieces, and attainable time goals, and put these all on paper and work towards that spring clean decluttered home, or work towards losing weight, or work towards your goals as far as your business. I mean, this will work for anything. You just have to sit down on a piece of paper, write the overall huge goal, and start breaking it down from there. To reach that, what are all the little tiny steps you need to take along the way? And then write those down and work on those a little bit at a time, and you can always reassess. The other thing I would like to add before I let you guys go is there's a lot of things in life that you think you want to change, or you think you want to make a goal to fix, change, do, whatever. One thing I try to think about when I think about anything in my life, whether it's the business, whether it's my personal life, whether it's health and weight, whatever. Whenever anything comes up where I think, I need a goal to change this, the two things I ask myself are, can I change it? And is there a way for me to make this better? Because if the answer is no, then you just need to learn to accept it and adapt to the situation. There will be things in life that you cannot change. There will be things in life that you cannot make better. There are just some things we cannot humanly fix or change. And if it is a situation like that there's nothing you can do about it, then you need to work on your own self, your attitude towards it, your emotions, and becoming healthy that way, and just learning to accept the things you cannot change. I know I sound like an AA meeting, but it's so true. Once you learn to accept the things that you cannot change and change your attitude towards them, you can focus more on the things that you can change. And also, a third question you could always ask yourself, can I change it? Can I make it better? But also ask yourself, is this something that's going to matter tomorrow, next week, a month from now, a year from now? I think a lot of people focus their energy, their time, their emotions, their efforts on things that just don't matter. If you're doing something and you're spending time in your own personal energy, or you're stressing out about something that isn't important enough that tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, it's not going to matter in your life, then stop it. Go find something else to spend your energy and time on that matters to you, that will matter next year, that will make your life better. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like the video before you leave. You guys know that does help the channel. If you have any questions or any requests for videos on bullet journaling or how to do these lists, let me know. I do like to hear from you guys. If you haven't already and you'd like to, please subscribe to this channel and help us feed a hungry hippo. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We're at Flippin' Hippos. Until next time, you guys have a good night.